So I suppose this is the moment you've all been waiting for. All these berries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 11 varieties of berries in one mouthful. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how you can create your own incredible berry paradise, even if you have very little space to work with. The tips I'm going to show you today will really help you create something truly amazing. And when I mean paradise, I do actually mean paradise. Let's get into the video. So one of the best tips I can give you for getting your own berry paradise is to plant so many varieties of berries that you just get overwhelmed. In the shop right now I've got blueberries, gooseberries, josterberries, yellow raspberries, red gooseberries, red raspberries, all within a small space, and they're not all ripe right now, and that's another advantage I'll talk about in a minute. But really, choosing a variety selection that is just overwhelming is probably one of the best things you can do to get a berry paradise. When you really delve into all the different varieties of berries you can grow, it opens up so many possibilities. You come across interesting berries like this one here, which is an all gold yellow raspberry. These are, in my opinion, much nicer than the red raspberries, and they just grow so well. Again, this works in my favour because after I've been eating so many yellow raspberries, all gold raspberries, I'm getting a bit sick of the flavour. I want something new to taste, and that's where I think, oh, that's good, the gooseberries are just coming in season. So then I can move on to gooseberries, start eating all them gooseberries, get a little bit sick of the flavour because I'm so many of them, and now I'll move on to the next one. You can see how the cycle continues. This is part of the fun and the enjoyment of growing so much food that you are just, I don't know, just living through the cycles of nature. Just to prove that you can have berry abundance in your back garden, I'm going to put it into a visual picture. I'm going to get one of each ripe berry right now in the garden and put it in my hand and show you the variety at the end. So first here we've got black currants, and I've had so many of these, and to be honest, these are the early black currants, and we've got late black currants ripe, just getting ripe over there, and there's so many setting they're going to be ready soon, so I'm going to have even more black currants to get through. But for the sake of this video, get one ripe black currant, put it in my hand, and then move on. Here I've got, right next to it, this is a very interesting one. This is actually a white currant bush. These have just finished, you can see they've been stripped down, but there's a few stragglers left by the birds. And I'm just going to pick one, and that's what a white currant looks like. Put it in the hand. Two varieties. Next we've got red currants. This is a later variety. Again, it's just starting to get ripe now. You can see it's starting to turn nice and red, but we've already been through all the early red currants. So again, it's another advantage of having multiple varieties at the same time. Whilst one's finishing, there's another one just getting started, so you have red currants for longer in the garden. So you see the amount of red currants on here is just ridiculous. Just all over. But let's find a nice red juicy one. That one looks like a good one. Nice little red currant with the hand. I've got three varieties in my hand. So as I walk into the next ripe berry, these by the way are actually all berries, but they've just finished. These are early varieties of gooseberries and early varieties of currants. But here, we've got some nice red raspberries hanging down. One of the most popular berries in the UK, I'd say. Some red raspberries, and perfectly ripe, just slipped off nicely. Quite a big one. Let's add it to hand, look at that already. Get a nice selection. See it overhanging all the lettuce as well. Amazing. And right next to them raspberries, we've got a massive josterberry bush, and these are so nice. I can't explain how good they are, and they're just getting into the season now where they're turning deep purple colour and going a bit squidgy, and that's when you know they're ripe for picking. So let's just pick. It almost tears off. See how exploding with juice it is. It just tears off the stem and add it to the hand. And that's again right next to this massive sea of yellow raspberries. We're just getting like overwhelmed with berries here. I talked about this briefly before. This is another amazing variety of berries to grow. So I've got a yellow raspberry, nice all gold yellow raspberry, that's the hand. I'm not going to bother going through getting each variety of red raspberry, so I've got about 4 different varieties right now, And over there I picked bowls and bowls of raspberries the other day and froze quite a lot of them because they're finishing a little bit earlier. And yeah, again, there's no point in getting a massive handful. I'm just trying to get one of each variety to demonstrate the berry paradise that is developing in this garden and show you how easy you can get it yourself if you just follow these simple tips. So next on the list is gooseberries. These are so good when they're grown fresh and picked when they're actually ripe. They don't taste sour like you'd expect them to taste because they're picked ripe. Anyway, right, these ones, I've got a red variety here that is just getting into season. Nice red gooseberry. That is actually one of the first ones I picked from that bush, which I'm quite excited to try. And right next to that red gooseberry, I've got these yellow Invitica gooseberries. I think I'm saying it right, but this is absolutely loaded with gooseberries, and they're just starting to get nice and squidgy and ripe now. And I've also seen a few, we call them, just shells of gooseberries on the ground that birds have pecked the insides out, which tells me they're ripe because birds are clever and they know what they're doing. I'm just going to look for a nice ripe one. I've got a lot to choose from, but I'm going to find a nice big juicy one. Here, oh, they're getting big. They're juicy. Look at that. Look at the size of that for a gooseberry. That's a pile. And that's how many varieties now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 berries in my hand that I'm not even finished yet. I'm not gonna lie, I can't help myself from smiling at this one because this is the favourite part of my entire food forest, and it's the strawberry patch. I'm stood in the middle of a sea of strawberries. In fact, I should say they have actually come towards the end of the strawberry season, but there's a few stragglers around that are still really nice and perfect for demonstration in this video. So, got one here. That's a nice straggler. See how deep red and juicy it looks. And that is delicious. And look at this, I just realised now, this is how many berries got growing here. I didn't realise that all these raspberries were growing into my strawberry patch. Got some ripe raspberries. This is a different variety to the one over there, and a little bit deeper red. You can see there's a little bit of a difference. You know what, I'm going to add it to the hand, just to add an extra an extra twist to the variety of berries I've got in my hand. But I'm still not finished because I've got, I think, a couple more berries to harvest. As you can see behind me, I'm getting a bit swamped with blackberries. They're not ready yet. They'll be ready probably late September, but right now is an amazing time for all the bees because they are absolutely all over them. We've got a bit of a mutual agreement going here. The bees are having their fun on them, pollinating them, getting their fair share of food, something for them to stick around for, whilst I'm going to get to enjoy the abundance of blackberries at the end of the season. And this is another massive benefit for why you want to plant more than one variety of berry, because as one berry is finishing, another berry is getting ripe or flowering, and having loads of berries like this gives the bees something else to move towards, so they stick around my garden for longer and help create abundance in the food forest. So last but not least is this berry here. It's almost a cross between a raspberry and a blackberry, and it's called tayberry. It produces these massive deep purple berries looking like this. I'll find a ripe one for you. And the best thing about this kind of berry, you can see where I'm growing it now. Yeah, that one's so ripe it just fell off my hand. I better get a different one like that. Right, a different one. The best thing about this berry here is the fact that it just trellises on anything. It's like a trellising plant. So as you can see here, I'm growing it along the fence line. I'm utilising all the space in the garden. So if you have any fences or hedges, don't just discard that space, because that is a perfectly good location to grow certain foods and increase the abundance in your garden. So take something like a blackberry or a tayberry and plant it there, and over the years you'll end up having a full fence full of berries. So I'm just looking for a nice deep purple one. Okay, I got one there. I know it's ripe because it's actually dyeing my fingers red as I'm picking it, exploding with juice. Look at that. Add that to the hand. Look at the amount of variety of berries on there. They're all ripe in the garden at the same time. And this isn't even including the berries that are just getting ripe now, like all the blueberries and the gooseberries that are ready later in the season, all the blackberries. Man, there's gonna be a lot of berries this year. suppose this is the moment you've all been waiting for. All these berries, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 varieties of berries. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 11 varieties of berries in one mouthful. Problem is, knowing it's like the size of that gooseberry, I don't think I can include that in it because it's too big. I won't be able to fit all these in my mouth. So let's just give it a go. Oh. That is fruity. That is so fruity. I think that's the best. Wow. Mixed berries to the maximum, that, isn't it? That is so good. Again, that's one of them experiences you can put on your bucket list, or you can start in your back garden. Because I can tell you now, it's so easy to create something like this. It doesn't have to be some major project to plant the berry bushes I've shown you today. It's that easy to grow it, and you can have it at your own back garden pretty much for free, minus the cost of the berry bushes, and you get something that incredible. Another huge reason why I've been so successful growing all these berries in this food forest is because I don't use any chemicals, and that is obviously very closely tied with the whole ethos of my channel, which is growing with nature and not trying to supplement nature with any kind of chemical, whether it's a herbicide, pesticide, fertilizer, whatever you want to use, even if the label is organic. Because as soon as you start to introduce chemicals to try and treat a certain deficiency or symptom, whether it's a pest or some kind of issue with your plant health, that is when you run into so many problems. You start going down the route of chemicals, treating chemicals, and then soon enough you've got a whole host of chemicals on your plants, which mean they're not even healthy to eat anymore. These plants I know are 100% organic, in fact the best than organic, and they're grown right in line with nature in the best possible setting to get the best abundance out of them. And this links really closely to my last point that I'm going to make about how I've actually been able to get such healthy, vibrant plants in this setting, and that is all to do with the soil health. So when it comes to the healthiest soil, this really is at the core of the success of everything that happens in the food forest, because everything in your garden is relying on the health of the soil. And when you have soil that is very healthy and biodiverse and living, that is when your plants don't run into any pest issues, they stay strong and vibrant, they don't have any diseases, and as a result they produce tons and tons of berries. Like I showed you before, this jostaberry bush is just absolutely loaded with berries. But why is that? And if I just show you under here, if I dig under with my hand and then just show you the soil it's growing in, that is what it's growing in. And this has been a result of years of decomposing natural materials like wood chips and the leaves decomposing on top of it, with no additions other than nature having time to basically do all the work for me, and all the worms getting to work pulling that into ground and keeping it healthy. And you can probably notice by looking at the rest of my food forest, nowhere is the ground left uncovered. And this is absolutely crucial, because like I said, everywhere in nature the ground is covered. As soon as you have exposed soil, that is where weeds come in. Weeds are the quick fix from nature to keep your ground covered and healthy. So by having a simple covering like wood chips is another really amazing way of protecting the soil and keeping the health, in fact improving the biodiversity of the soil, to then make your plants grow even bigger and even healthier and get berries like that all the way along. Look at that for just berries. So like I said, that really is at the core of the whole success, but that is really going to be paired with having the whole variety of plants growing in space. Like I showed you, about 11 varieties growing, and I ate them all in one go. It was pretty good experience. And also the fact that I don't use any chemicals in the garden, which again is more about protecting the soil, but chemicals in themselves do have so many negative implications that you just want to steer well clear of to get the most success and your own berry paradise. So if you enjoyed this video and you found it useful, and hopefully it's inspired you to create your own little haven in your back garden, just whether it's planting a few berry bushes or going full board like I have. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.